Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua by Shem Kakadash. Um, and please forgive me for the last video. I had either a messed up mic or the wire was messed up, so I had to wind up changing both of them. I'll go back later to see which one is still good. I believe it's the wire. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video. This is what I started. What I wanted to do this morning was the title of it, "The Beast Revisited," again. So I wanted to go. What I did was I went to Blue Letter. I put in the word beast, and it's in there a bunch of times. But I'm just going to go to the ones in the Book of Daniel, the Book of Revelation, and this is based upon a. Let me do this. Well, this is a video that the Bishop Nathaniel IUIC did, and then the title. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. Okay, we did the live Saturday, and this was up Damnation, the Beast Principle. So he's going into Revelation. He's dealing with the scriptures dealing with the beast. But where's the other one? I mean, I can find it. GMS, the hard watchers, IUIC, the 37 classes. Let me. Of course we do. What's wrong with that? Let me let this play.
But beloved, be not ignorant of this knowledge. Right. Yeah. Talk right here. You're talking more. Right. So we were just talking about how we're close because although we don't know the exact day of that this is gonna happen, but we know we're close because Yahushua gave the disciples
Okay, so they had to put a uh, a short up IUIC events. They're just so happy that I'm watching their videos. You know, they're like, I'll give up all those 36,000 people that watch our videos just to know that the Apostle Tahar is watching the video. So that we made their day. GMS Tahar watches IUIC Nathaniel 7 classes. Of course. What's wrong with that? You guys have 95%, I'll say 98% truth. You're almost there. You're not quite at the 100%. So most of the stuff that you say is true. It's the same stuff that the former one was to say. But anyway, they had to put it up. That made their day. So I'm happy for you. Let me come back over here. I wanted to find the other video. Okay, this is the other video they did a couple of days ago, and it was dealing with the sealed by God or marked by man, dealing with the MOTB. Oh, by the way, this is Paul Kersey. There's Paul Kersey right there. How you doing, Paul? So anyway, I'm doing this video because he did that video on the seals, and then the last one he did that I watched Saturday, Damnation, the Beast Principle. I didn't get a chance to see all of it, but we were kind of watching it here and there while we were doing a live class. So what I'm gonna do, let me just go here. Oh, I'm sorry. What the hell? Okay, this right here, I was watching these shorts. This is 1926, Oklahoma, United States. Members of the Tulsa Business League leave for lunch in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? 1926 restored footage of Tulsa, Oklahoma, showing the Tulsa Business League leaving to attend lunch. Now, this is way back in 2020. This is not too long after, slavery. Slavery was supposedly done away with, which it wasn't. It was emancipated, which the slaves are handed over to the U.S. The corporate U.S. So they would never. It would have said free. This is when they were free. No, they were emancipated. They were handed over. But so this is not too many years after he could have actually been in slavery as a boy. If not him, his parents were definitely living in that time period before 1865. So you see these now. Now the reason why they did so well, because I believe that they did receive reparations, which was 40 acres and 2 mules, and what they did was they turned it into an empire. Long story short, Esau didn't like that, the fact that they were doing so well, that they bombed them. You got to go into I'm not going to go into the story. That's a whole different video. But anyway, I'm going to let this play right here. Look at them. They're regal. Look that word up. They don't look like simple, yes, boss, yes, massa. They have that look. They have that look of pride and regalness, if that's a word. Regal is a word, but regalness. This that man is you want to talk about regal. See, Esau didn't like that. They say, oh, niggas can't do nothing. The brain, you put the Negro's brain in that bird of fly ass backwards. But look, when they do become successful, Esau hates that. So anyway, let's get into the subject. I don't know how long this is going to be, but this is what I did. I put in the word beast. Beast is first and foremost is a horse, a cow, a mule, a bullock, an ox, a dog. But then you have the word beast in prophecy. Daniel 7, verse 5, Daniel 7, verse 6, 7, Daniel 7, verse 7, Daniel 7, verse 11, Daniel 7, verse 19, Daniel 7, verse 23. So now let's go through these. Like I said, this might be short. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. Daniel 7, because the Bishop Nathaniel made a statement, and every time you come across the word beast, it goes hand in hand with man. It means man or something like that. But then he knows that the word beast, depending on where it's written, it's either talking about an actual animal or it's talking about the prophetic beast in Daniel. And it's only mentioned in the book of Daniel and in the book of Revelation. I'm talking about the prophetic beast. And you should all know what this is all about. I'm singing to the choir. We done been through this a bunch of times, but I'm revisiting it again. Daniel 7, verse 5. And behold, and by the way, when you go to the first verse and you read Daniel 1, you read on down, you read about the beast, the first beast and the second beast, third, and then the fourth beast was diverse from the rest. If you go to a Bible commentary page, they'll all say the same thing. What we say, they say they agree with us that the first beast represents the Babylonian Empire, which stemmed from the Assyrian Empire. By the way, the king of Babylon was Assyrian. He was not Cushite. Now, back at One West, they used to say that, oh, the kings of Nebuchadnezzar and his son and his grandson, they were, I think it was Nebuchadnezzar and his son, because from Nebuchadnezzar to his son or his grandson, we're talking about that time of rule was for about, according to the scripture, 70 years, but I think it went down. Historians will tell you that it went down in 67 years. So the Most High can cut things short, or he can lengthen the time on things, right? Just drinking some water. So it says, so all the scholars agree. Give me a second here. Forgive me. So let's go ahead and read it. Daniel 7:5. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said, thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. This represents the Medo-Persian Empire. When it stood up on one side, represents the Persian becoming more mightier than the Medes, and it started with the Medes. Now the three teeth represents Babylon. I forget Babylon. I believe the Medes, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, that was the Medes. I believe it was Babylon, Egypt, and it was one more. Somebody help me out. I did videos before on it, but I know one was Egypt and one was the Babylonians, of course, and also I believe it was a person that did take over the Medes, but they kind of worked together. I got to go back into that history. I got to refresh my history, but I forget the third one. Somebody help me out. Go on Google, whatever, find out. If you know, tell me. I don't remember everything. So Daniel 7:6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. The leopard represents Alexander. The 4 heads represents the 4 generals that came up with him: Lacemaeus, Cassandra, which the other, Seleucus, and Ptolemy. Now, if you go to Revelation 11 chapter, that whole chapter is dedicated to a series of wars between the north and the south, which was the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemaic Empire. And this is something that we had to, through the Spirit, we put that together and broke it down. At the main school, it was never went into because the Spirit did not work on, or did not at that time work on the minds of the seven to get the understanding. They didn't know what it meant. They knew parts of it, but they didn't know the whole thing. We went through the whole thing, broke it down. And it's called in history, it's called the Six Syrian Wars. If you look up the Six Syrian Wars and you go back and forth to Daniel 11, you'll be able to pray. Okay, this represents the first war. This represents the second war. There was six of them. The Six Syrian Wars. It mentions the Ptolemies, and it'll mention the Seleucid dynasty, and even scholars will agree with that. So if you was wondering what does Daniel 11 mean, now you know. Daniel 7:7. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast. This is the Roman Empire, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great teeth, or iron teeth. It devoured and break in. Now the prominent metal that the Roman Empire used was iron to make their swords, their spears, their weapons of war, their chariots, their shields. They devoured and break in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, meaning it broke up the empires into provinces or states, and it was diverse from all the rest, all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. 10 horns represent these European, how can I say, provinces that was a part of the Roman Empire. I can't remember all of them. The Visigoths, the Vandals, the Franks, the Huns. I got a list somewhere of the exact that mentions all 10 of them. You bring it up to date. It's talking about the European Union and also NATO. So the Roman Empire is here under the guise or the name, or not acronym, the EU, that represents the financial part, and NATO represents the military part. You have, and these are all European nations except for America and Canada, which stem from Europe. Canada stemmed from well, you have French Canadian, you have, British, because I've been up to Canada, and they praise the Queen, but I believe at one time, you got to go into the history. You had the French had part of Canada, and you had the British had part of Canada. So let's move on. Like if you go to certain parts of Canada, it's like being in France. They speak fluent French, and they might speak broken English. So it's like another part of France. Like if you go to Toronto, everybody speaks English. Anyway, if you go to the hotel on the cable, you have actual French channels. I believe Montreal they speak French, and certain other provinces, regions of Canada. So Canada, the U.S., the NATO nations. Like I said, the U.S. and Canada are NATO nations, not EU nations. Turkey is part of the NATO alliance, but not a part of the EU. France is part of the EU and NATO. Great Britain was a part of the EU and NATO, but now Great Britain is only a part of NATO. Oh yeah, there's something I wanted to go to. Let me do this. And I watched this whole video. It's 10 minutes long. Okay, let me go to my notifications. Sakari Live Jewish Rabbi versus Sakari Hebrew Israelites Guerrilla and Deacon Live debate. Let me come down here. Oh, this is good. The new song Bar. It's a brother out in the West. He's part of GMS. And he does a lot of the Spirit tournament. He does a lot of things on the coming World War II, War of Armageddon. Goes into a lot of facts and couples it, filters it through the scriptures. Excuse me. Excuse me. Bear with me for a minute. I was watching this early this morning. Come on now. This is Vocab Malone. He came on my video. Yeah, he said it's only bona fide, not coffee. So only one, not both. Two. I never go after your videos except that one because all you did was re-upload my content. In that instant, I'll never go after any. I'll read the rest of that later. You man, them people saying this guy's a whack ass rapper. Anyway, this is Crossing Line Radio. Captain Sarah gives a biblical lesson to whack in the 100 side. Can you be a spiritual Jew? Yeah, if you're an actual Jew. I'm almost there. Okay, this is the video, but this is the page. Deep in Moments, upload in EU without Qatar. Qatar would be in an energy crisis. Let me see. I saw this early in the morning, so you see all my notifications. But I checked out the whole. This is it right here. This is the site is called the YouTube page, or the YouTube handle is Deep in Moments. Uploaded. Support Macron. The French public rejects the continuation of EU/NATO sanctions against Russia. You have to watch this whole video. You have to watch this entire video. It's only 10 minutes long. And then what you now you can understand why Revelation chapter 17, what is that? The 12th verse will come to pass. I mean, they bring it out. They bring it out. I'm surprised YouTube allows this video to be on. Let me see if it's still on. It's still up.
Phone charging slowly. This is the fact.
I mean, I'm not going to show it, but you got to watch this video. Deep in Moments, and subscribe to it. Support Macron. The French public reject the continuation of EU/NATO sanctions against Russia. And basically, in this video, they say that pretty much these NATO nations and these EU nations kiss America's ass, but it's hurting the people. See, the U.S. declared a sanction or sanctions against Russia, and they urged NATO and the EU to do the same thing to their detriment. You got to watch this. I'm gonna watch this again. It's 10 minutes long. This commercial is, I think, 3 minutes, but the video itself is 10 minutes long. Got to watch it. Support Macron. The French public rejects, the people reject the continuation of EU NATO sanctions against Russia. I heard something, I got to check with it after this. I do this video that they're involved in negotiations, Russia and the Ukraine. And you got to keep up with this. The prophecies are popping off like popcorn. Okay, so now let me come back over here. Okay, where am I? This represents the Roman Empire. And when the Lord comes back, he's coming to destroy the Roman Empire. But it's under a different name, under new management, so to speak. That's what he told the disciples that became apostles. When is that coming? And when will the end of the world come? And that what the word there in the Greek is eon, which means a time period to rule. So they were saying, when are you going to take down Roman rule? And he said, when you see this, you see that, earthquakes in diverse places, nation against nation. What went over their head was they was talking about the second leg or the reborn Roman Empire. There's a reborn Roman Empire. People don't know it because they don't call themselves the Roman Empire. All right? Okay, so Daniel 7, verse 11, I beheld them because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. What's that burning flame? The destruction. 19 verse. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which this went over Daniel's head anyway, went over John, the apostle's head. We know clearly, we know it crystal clear, which were diverse from all the others, exceeding the dreadful, whose teeth. Now, what made it different from all the others? All the others had kings. Rome was a whole different. They had presidents. Presidents just mean first, which they call emperors, which means commanders. The president is also known as a commander in chief. So this is Rome all over again, as we said. Go down to DC, look at the infrastructure of DC, the architecture of DC. When you go downtown, I've been down there a bunch of times, and it looks like a scene out of Rome. Same architecture as what is that? Petra, which is in Mount Seir. These are the Edomites. The Edomites are here. The Edomites are in the power seat. Give me a second. It says, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which is diverse, different from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, because they eat metal weapons. And number one metal that they used was iron, and they also used brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. What does it say in Matthew 11? and the violent take it the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. The Romans took down, just like what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, they're using force. They don't want to submit, they're using force. Daniel 7, verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, and shall be diverse from all kingdoms prior to that, the other three, and shall devour the whole earth. Did the Roman Empire 2,000 years ago devour the whole earth? No. This rebirth of the Roman Empire, they have control of the whole earth, and the head state is the U.S. The U.S. There's almost 1,000. There probably is 1,000 or more. They set up military bases throughout the world. Some of them say 800 plus. Some of them say we don't know how many. I would say about 1,000 military bases all over the world. Anytime you have a military base in another country, that's called an occupation. So if there's a military base in Okinawa, guess what? That's a province of the U.S. And shall tread it down and break it in pieces, instead of provinces or states. Now I want to read this. I'm not going to go to the first verse. I'm not going to really break it down, but Zephaniah 1 verse 3. I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heavens and the fishes of the sea and the stumbling blocks, people that's teaching these lies, with the wicked, Esau, and I will cut off man from off the land, saith the Lord. Like I said, I'm not going to read the rest of this. This is a whole another lesson. Let me see here. Okay, we're going to jump all this. We're going to go right to Revelation. But a lot of precepts. Okay, sometimes the beasts also represent angels. Revelation 6 verse 3, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, now this is an angel. Revelation, jump to Revelation 11 and 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit. And now when did the beast actually ascend out of the bottomless pit? During the time of the late 1400s, during the time of Christopher Columbus, Queen Isabella, King Ferdinand, because they came together to unite Aragon and Castile. So when Columbus came to the New World, that's when the beast became free. They took down the Moors and the so-called Byzantine Empire through the Turks. Then you had the Spanish take down the other Israelites. And last stronghold, which was Granada. King Bodai, I can't even say his name. Obadiah, whatever his name is. You look it up. All you got to do is go to the last king of the Moors, which he was a Jake. 7 verse again, Revelation 11:7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them. So who did he make war against? against Gad, Reuben, the rest of the northern kingdom, and us being over there in Spain came against us because we were in power for really over 1,000 years. Revelation 13:1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. This is talking about the beast from the past, also known as the dragon, the serpent. Revelation 13:2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. That's talking about Alexander. And his feet was as the feet of a bear. That's talking about Russia. Now, when it speaks about NATO and the EU, Russia is not a part of NATO and the EU. It's talking about Alexander in that order. He was third in line. The end of this man's kingdom are a group of Edomites known as the Russians. The word Russia is a Hebrew word that means chief prince. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, that's talking about Great Britain. Who or what came out of Great Britain? The US, America, the 13 original colonies. And the dragon gave him his power. Now, dragon is interchangeable with the current beast and the ancient beast. When you go to Revelation 12, it speaks about the dragon. It's not talking about some demon, it's talking about the Roman Empire. But it also mentions the dragon or serpent in Revelation 20. So after this, you don't need to ask no more questions about the beast. Gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Their great authority comes from the spirit of Rome, of pagan Rome. Third verse, and I saw one of the heads as it was wounded unto death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So what wound did they receive? The fall of the Roman Empire. When we came into power, we kept the Roman Empire going. And they worship the dragon, which is the Roman system, also known as the image. It's not a picture of Caesar Borgia. Bishop Nathan, you should stop that. He should watch my videos so he can get it right. The image of the beast is not the image of the beast. I'm gonna see if it's right here. Okay, it's right here. Didn't it say, what is this, the third verse or whatever? I can go back to it. Oh, right, third verse. Wounded after the beast. It was wounded in the head. He said, this is what Bishop Nathaniel saying, that the image of the beast is a picture of Caesar Borgia. It's not a picture of Caesar Borgia. All right? It's the Roman system. The angel said, let us make man in our own image. We don't look like the angels unless the angels come down in the form of a man. When you read about the angels, they come. Let me do this. Click on this. Revelation 4, verse 7. And the first beast was like a lion. So we don't look like lions. And the second beast like a calf. We don't look like calves. And the third beast had a face as a man. And the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. And that's also mentioned in Ezekiel chapter 1. So the angels can look like animals, beasts. Accusations are part of the truth, and we all have a past. So let's come on back over here. The word beast, the word beast is in all throughout Revelation 13 chapter. It says, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and did live. It's not talking about Caesar Borgia. It's not talking about white Jesus. It's talking about the ancient pagan Roman Empire. We're gonna follow that the blueprint, the Senate, the president, which is the emperor, emperor meaning what is it? Commander. It means commander. President's also known as commander in chief. Donald Trump is Nero. They're gonna try to lock Nero up. Gonna try to lock him up. They lock up Nero, the hero. Them good old boys are gonna tear this country up. That's when all hell is gonna break loose. See, they're connected to Trump in the spirit because those were the same demons that was back there in the past that followed Nero. And Nero, when the apostles got put to death, they were put to death under the orders of Nero. Paul was put to death under the orders. Nero or Trump signed off on Paul's death, and he also signed off on Peter's death, and he signed off on the rest of them. Basically, they were all signed off on, and I believe it was James. I think it was before. It was actually before Nero. But definitely, when you go into the secular history, Peter got put to death, executed for sedition, and the Apostle Paul was executed for sedition, and his execution was humane, because the worst execution you can receive is slowly dying on a tree or a cross. So they said, well, wait a minute, we can't hang this guy on the cross. We got to chop his head off, which is more humane. It's a quick death. It says 15. So get that picture of Caesar Borgia out your mind. Ain't nobody going to line you up and say, do you? Ain't going in no store and they, do you see, kiss Caesar, and you can buy what you look. I went to the store. I came out of a store a couple hours, an hour or two ago. I use a credit card. That's not the mark of the beast. It says, and he had power to give a life unto the image of the beast. It's not a picture of Caesar Borgia, because if that was the case, Caesar Borgia would be walking around. You got Caesar Borgia on the wall. He's in his toilet. You hear the toilet flush. You open up the door. It's Caesar Borgia, the picture peeing. He looking in the damn refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? He's running around the house 4 a.m. making noise. No, that's not. Get it through your thick skulls. Learn how to swallow your pride, Bishop Nathaniel. The image has nothing to do with a picture of Caesar Borgia. Because atheists, they're going to receive the chip, the MOTB, but that don't mean they're going to kiss Caesar Borgia's picture. Let's move on. Revelation 13, verse 11. In any camp that's not teaching the MOTB is the fulfillment of Revelation 13, Either you took the bag or the Most High just blinded you. That's why I said IUIC has 98, but they might have 95% truth. Revelation 13, verse 17, and to know, and that no man might buy or sell. And that's talking about this is getting ready to happen. It's happening on a small level, but it's getting ready to happen on a wide level. When you think of MOTB, you got to think of CBDC, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the charagma or the name of the beast system or the number of his name. Like everything's going to be the CBDC is going to be a digital system. You go to buy something, they know exactly what you if you went to a diner, you ordered a steak dinner or a Coca-Cola with some ice cream sundae. You got into the place at 6 o'clock. You left the place at 6:30. You went to the movies. They know exactly what movie you went to. You go get gas. They know exactly how much gas you put in your tank. That's slavery. That's digital slavery right there, man. And they're gonna actually try to push that shit. Imagine you deal with a woman, right? You're all into this woman, and y'all get married, and then she says, "Well, look, I gotta put this tracker on you to find out where you are, what you're doing, what stores you're going to. Like I can go to my smartphone and know exactly where you at. If you said I'm coming home late from work, well, she's looking to see if you taking that route to work and you ain't stopping. Are you gonna deal with that woman? If you are, you're a fucking stupid ass, and she ain't gonna go for that either. So why are you gonna let the authorities do that? They're gonna be, hey brother, gonna be some hell raising in 2023. Because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is not going backwards. He's not slowing this thing down. You see what he did upstate to them and people up there in state that froze to death. The EMS couldn't get to them. They calling 911. People froze to death in their cars. Can you imagine? Could you imagine you buy a pack of hot dogs, right? You put it in the freezer. The hot dogs, you can touch them. You know, they're pliable and all that. You can touch them. They're soft. Then in about a half an hour, they're hard as a rock. Well, that's when they found them. They're hard as a rock. That's a hell of a way to go. To drown, to catch on fire, and to freeze to death. Those are three of the worst, man. And then you experience a thing called hyper, what is it called? Hypothermia, where your body is trying to heat itself up. Most people that freeze to death, when they find him, was a Moabite guy. He was in the woods and he got lost from his family. And when they found him, he was dead, but he was naked. And the clothes were right next to him. Why? Because his body started heating up. Hypothermia, meaning your body is saying, well, I'm freezing. I gotta, there's a thermostat in your body, which is what do you call that? Not this, is it the spleen? I believe it's the spleen. I'm not a biologist. It's either the spleen or the what's the other thing? Not the tonsils. That's too high up. You got the spleen, and you got the what's that other? I can't think of it, but it regulates your body. So if your body feels cold, your body heats itself up. Do the research on it. Is it the appendix? One of them regulates the natural thermometer or thermostat in your body. It said, so why would you take those things out? You heal them. That's what this devil believes in, radical surgery. Oh, it's not working right, cut it off. You can re-heal it by changing your lifestyle, your diet. Revelation 13, verse 18. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, what is the number of the man, and the number is 603 score and six. Now, Bishop Nate said that's talking about the six veils, the six angels, and the six trumpets. No, it does not. This beast has nothing to do with the angels. This beast is talking about the beast system, NATO and the EU. How the hell did you read that and all of a sudden say that's talking about six angels, six trumpets, and six vials? And it went over everybody's head because whatever this man says, they just go with it. The great Bishop Nathaniel said that, and ain't nail one of them. I can guarantee none of the people that follow Bishop Nate Nathaniel as a part of the Church of Berea. Read about the Church of Berea in Acts 17. There's levels to this thing. Paul proved that. He said, look, the Church of Berea is on a higher level than the Church of Thessalonica. Did that mean that they weren't going to be delivered? Isaiah 14:9. And the third angel followed after them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, if you kiss the picture Caesar Borgia, according to IUIC, and receive his mark, and that's a charagma, it's not sin. It's not, oh, that's the same mark that Cain got. They put a new one in there. And nobody said, are you sure about that? In his forehead or in his hand. Literal forehead, which is metapon. You got the metaverse, right? That company went from Facebook to metaverse. What does meta mean? You put those goggles on. It's right where your forehead is, in between your eyes. So the forehead is the word there is metapon, or in his hand, right or left hand. This is destruction. You take that chip, you're going to get dipped. Same thing in Revelation 15:2, Revelation 16:2. It said you're going to develop a cancer, a noisome and grievous pus is going to grievous sore, which issues out pus. So that's a cancer. You got an infected cut, you got to do something about it. You leave it alone, it turns into a cancer, it spreads. First thing you put on a cut is hydrogen peroxide. You kill the bad bacteria. Anyway, with that, I'm pretty sure you can understand the rest of these. It's pretty much talking about the same beast. Well, it is talking about the same beast. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. What does that mean? Ask any Christian that. They don't know. What does that mean? Full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman represents the U.S. The scarlet-colored beast represents NATO and the EU. Revelation 17:11, and the beast that was and is not, and even he is the 8th, which is the U.S., and is of the 7, not the 7th, but the 7, and goeth into perdition, is going to be destroyed. It tells you body burnt from the body being burnt from the fiery flame in Daniel 7. The same vision. 12th verse, Revelation 17:12, and we're almost out of here. And the 10 horns which thou saw are 10 kings. Now there's 30 of them. which have received no power as no which have received no kingdom as yet, but receiveth power as kings when out with the beast. Somebody tell me what that means. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. That's why when the U.S. said that they're gonna issue sanctions against Russia, the NATO and EU nations followed suit, but now they're suffering from it because those European nations get depend upon Russia's oil. That's why they declared a price cap. Like I said, watch that video. Check out the video. Inside joke. Victory for the Lamb. And the 10 horns, which includes NATO as well, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. At one time she was sitting on top of you, right? Now you hate that bitch, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh with fire, and burn her with fire. Those are nuclear, those ICBMs. It says, I did the research. It says that none of those NATO nations have missiles. I don't know. Maybe they start building them up. How long does it take to build a missile? So they can start production of ICBM missiles to eventually use it on this place. Because Russia's going to be the main place. We see China involved, Iran involved. And of course, the NATO and the EU nations. This is America right here. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That's why when they declared sanctions against Russia, the EU and NATO nations, they said they had no problem with it, but now they're suffering. So now they're going to their leaders saying, you gotta pull back them sanctions, man. You kissing America's ass. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next one. Shalom.